Hi, we're talking to Pastor Sappho today. We're just going to ask him a few questions about our theme for Black Family Day, which is celebrating the Black male. And today I just wanted him to introduce himself, his name, the name of his church, the location of his church at this time. Pastor Sappho.
God bless you. Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to honor you. You and your husband has been such a great light, brought such a great brightness of joy and a lot of professionalism into the city of Stockton. And I want to first say I honor you and appreciate y'all for what you have accomplished in the city of Stockton, bringing in
Thank you.
recording artists from all over. And it's been a blessing. You have been a blessing, and we have the utmost respect, always have and always will.
Oh, thank you.
My name is Terrence Southall. I'm from the city of Stockton. I was born and raised here. I pastor the Church of Greater Maranatha Church of God in Christ. I've been pastoring 22 years. We started in Western Ranch. We moved from Western Ranch to the educational building to other various churches until the Lord was able to bless us to purchase our own building, which used to be the old Mount Moriah Church, Missionary Baptist Church. We was able to purchase that about 2 years ago, which is in South Stockton, just 2209 South Park Lane, and we are more than blessed to be pastor of the great congregation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. As a Black male, what do you think you need to do to improve the Black family life and living in the city of Stockton? There's so much turmoil going on, especially now that we're in a pandemic. So, what do you think we could do to improve a family living, and how would you do that?
Well, one of the things that we need to be mindful of that is that the black male is no longer the lead or the head of the family. This is not something that by random or by chance that just happened. This has been read for many of years. It goes all the way back to the Willie Lynch letters, if you ever have an opportunity to read that, where it was designed to take the black male, the alpha male, which was the head of the family, tie him between two mules, split him and apart, and to allow the mother and the child to watch this. And so she would be frozen in fear, and she would teach her son that you always have to obey the master, always obey the masters. And then the master he would never give the instruction to a black male. He would always give it to the female, and she would give the instruction to the rest of the slaves. And then it goes on and on. Even in the Willie Lynch letter, it stated that you have to repeat this because the black family has a tendency to migrate back to leadership. And so they would repeat this.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has been going on since slavery.
Yes.
Then it went on to the separate but equal, where once again, the master or the white man would come and he would even sleep with the black man's wife while he sat on the porch. And then we go to the New Deal. From the New Deal came in the 60s, the 50s and the 60s, the welfare. The welfare was that if there was any male article in the home, that the family would be penalized. So he would be, the young boys, the sons would see their father running out the back window because the social worker, the white social worker would come in the house and inspect it. And if there was any articles, they would be penalized for having a male in the house. Then you go from there to the 70s and the 80s, you have a high incarceration of the black male.
Mm-hmm.
So we've always had a strike against us.
Right.
And so if we wanted to resolve this, because we have 73% of the children in the black home are being raised by single parents. And so how can you expect the black male to be a man when there's never been a man in his house? And so the wife or the woman have to, first of all, she have to play her role and to instill in her son, that he ought to grow up to be a leader and not a follower.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pastor Sappho, for expressing that, because so many people don't understand that we actually do have an actual problem in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you suggest to single mothers who are raising their black sons? What are some of the things you would suggest that they do?
One of the things is that when I grew up in the city of Stockton, I saw many black males in leadership, such as Booker Guyton, um, Pastor Adams, her husband. They were school teachers when we grew up, um, and this is in the '60s. And for them to come to Taft School, and it was a sign of leadership from a black male. In our churches, we saw many black males in leadership, such as head deacon. My father was a Sunday school superintendent, pastor, and so we had the opportunity to see many black males in leadership. When we went to school, Coach Raydell Barkley, Coach Parks, even to this day, they're dead and gone. And I do not call them by their first name. I still call them by I put a coach in front of them. It's because we was able to see leadership. I think that the older black male, we need to step up. We need to step up. When I grew up, there was boys club. It wasn't boys and girls club. And I have nothing against that. Yes, I do. I'm going to be honest with you. It meant a lot to see males in leadership.
Yeah, mentoring males.
Mentoring.
Mhm.
The boys club, it was Boy Scouts, where the boys came together and saw scout leaders that was black male. And so we need to get back to that. We need to have our older men to step up and start mentoring and help some of these single mothers. And the single mothers have to be willing to allow another black male that is respectable to help discipline. And I'm not talking about beat them, but I'm talking about to talk to them and to get in their face. Iron sharpen iron.
That's right. That's correct. Thank you so much for saying something about that, because so many people now understand that we have a serious situation with only black women raising their black sons.
Mhm.
And sometimes the males are around, but they're not really in the home. So we really
Right.
need them to be in the home even
When we
more.
grew up,
Yes.
when we grew up, the whole community helped.
Right.
I mean, we was able to get a whooping from my neighbor. And then when we would beg them not to tell our parents.
Right.
When I grew up, my father was very strong in disciplining. And so if we ever got arrested, if they ever gave us a choice, you want to be arrested or you want to go home, lock me up, because my father was very strong in discipline. And our community, even in the church, how many times I've gotten taken in the back, not by my parents, but by one of the members of the church, because they invested in us.
I have another question. Do you have any suggestions about family unity, and is there such thing as division in the black family? Because I know we can see it, but we don't always know what the actual root of it is. So, with division being in a black family, what are some suggestions you would give to help unify that family?
Yes, one of the things is that even in the churches, we need to be mindful of what we are, who's in our congregation. 45%, between 45 and 50% of our congregation are surrounded by single parents or the singles in the church. And the interesting thing, or the sad thing about it, is that for some reason, some of the married women in the churches feel so threatened that we oftentimes want to beat them, or if they say hi to their husband, they want to be so negative. We need to establish a single parents ministry in the church. We need to be able to minister to the whole body. It's a blessing for singles just to come together, because they have a common issue of raising their children by themselves, not having a male in the home. The churches need to step up. For single parents, we need to be able to. One of the things I would like to implement in our church is that every 3 months we change the oil in the single parent's car. Something that would help them being more active into their home. I participate in all of our children in school. If they're playing sports, football, I'm at their game and I'm there supporting. They need to see us there. We need to be really, just make it quick. I want to see the churches be more active in the singles ministry, the single parents ministry.
Very good. Very good. As a pastor, I really feel like that's very important myself. I'm not a male pastor,
But you're a pastor.
but I'm a pastor, so
You're
I
a
also
leader.
see it's very important that the family unit is supported
Right.
by all aspects that we can support. So many young men are broken and which causes them to do things that are harmful and to themselves and to others. How can we redirect them and show them a better way?
First of all, we need to see that one is that when a black male is born, he's already having three strikes against him. One is that he's black. Two is that you have a system that is causing a strike against them. Three, we have a lot of single women, or he don't have a mentor or a man in their life. So one of the things that we need to do is that um, I make it my business at our church is to speak to the individual, to talk to them, find out what's going on in their head, and also edify them, to build them up, to encourage them. Like I said, I participate in their lives. If they're participating in sports, I'm involved. I'm there, attending their graduation, attending any programs that they may be having. We just have to be implanted into their lives instead of just allowing them or just preaching our way to heaven and enjoying Christ, and while the young black male is being left behind. And
Right.
another thing is that many of our black males are they're not able to read, write, and because of that, when a person is I could say ignorant, or when they're unable to read right then and there, it develops anger in a black male's life because the majority of the black males will want to be successful. So what do? They go find a gang member or gang, and now that becomes their family.
Right.
I'm a police chaplain. I'm gonna say this. I'm a police chaplain. They have a chart. They have a chart. It's a chart with a line in the center. There's a group right here, which is 10%. They have 80% right here, and they have 10% right here. And in that, this 10% they already count out. They say they'll never make it. They'll always be in trouble. They're head bound for prison. Then you have this other group, this other 10%. They're going to be successful regardless. You don't have to do anything else. So they're focusing on the 80%. And that's what we need to do, focus on the 80% by also trying to pull that other 10% back into the group. And we're trying to stay focused on that. This group they wrote off. I was written off as a child. I was always in trouble. I was written off, but I had a parent, I had family, I had people that stood behind me. We need to focus on the 80% of the people that try to transfer them to the positive 10%.
That sounds great.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds great. I didn't even know that they were categorized like that.
Oh, from
I knew
John
there
Street.
I knew there was some type of categorizing, but I didn't know it was exactly like that. So that was like really interesting for me to hear that and to understand that and to know how we could help in that same area. The next question I want to ask you, have you or will you create programs personally at your church that are geared toward the young black male? Will you create something or do you already have something created now that you could do at your church?
We're working in both areas. Yes, we have had mentoring group where I was able to take the young black male fishing, and it's the same thing. When I grew up, um, we was at the boys club. We would go to the basketball game, the football game, and we would spend time with them. We had provided a sandwich or something like that. We have had that program, and we're going to establish that program back in our church. Is because we don't have the boys club like we used to. We don't have anybody mentoring. Also, we have a lot of professional people in our church, people that graduated with engineer degrees. Now they're retired, upper management. We have a young lady at our church. She's upper management for AT&T. We need to expose them to those individuals and bring them, have lunch, and let them talk about their struggles and help mentor them and try to take them out of that 80% to that positive 10%.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Lastly, how can we as a society or a race celebrate the black male? What can we do personally? Because like sometimes people need to hear what they need to do because they don't always have an idea of what to do. And a lot of times there are a lot of young boys who are doing really well or have a lot of, and they're put down, they're talked about. If they're dark skinned, they're talked about. They got nappy hair, they talked about. If they're very light, they're talked about.
Mhm.
It just depends on what's going on. So what are some of the things you think that we could do to just enhance them and celebrate them, even as males who have maybe from a child all the way up have done something that was really great, and nobody doesn't say like, "Oh, that was a good job." But what can we do personally to help them?
Yeah. One of the things is that I'm really stretched, but I'm a part of the African American Athletic Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
And this is one of the things that we honor. Um, and I think we need to be focused. We need to focus on rewarding the good and stop trying to focus on the bad. Whether they get a C average, we need to honor them, those individuals. Um, there's colleges that will, especially black colleges, that will accept them. We need to really get off our do nothingness and start being more active and reaching out to the young male. Even there's ex gang members that's a member of our church. We need their testimony. We need them to go talk to some of the gang members. I've enjoyed talking to some of the gang members with tatted. We need to look beyond those tattoos and those piercings. Even the Bible says that even God looks beyond. Man look at the outward appearance,
Yeah,
but God looks at the
so
heart.
hard. Mhm.
And every one of those persons and individuals, they don't want to. I haven't met a person that want to be a thug or do things bad. Everybody wants to be positive. Everybody want to be successful.
That's true.
So we need to get out of our comfort zone, even get outside the church, and we need to start ministering to those people. Don't be afraid. I've been to crack houses to get our members, ex-members, our members of our church. I knocked on the crack house doors, asking for certain individuals of our church because why? That's the soul, and we believe that a child saved is a soul saved.
Plus
So
a
we have to
life.
get out, plus a life.
Yes.
So we need to get out. We need to go find them. They will respect OGs like me. They will respect. They have respect for them. So we need to be more active, and we need to honor them and reward them.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Sappho, for being with us on today. I really appreciate your coming out